Hello everyone, here I am in another video, and today I'm gonna talk about the meaning of having a short hair for a woman. Yes, because I'm going to have a haircut today, and well, as I said in the previous videos that I recorded, I these videos will be a mess. In some of them, I will be having a short hair. In other, I will be having this long hair. But anyway, since today I'm going to have a haircut, today is June 22. I would like to talk about how we, for us women, what it means to have a short hair, and also for me, what it means to me as well. And my story with these different lengths of hair, because when I started this shit, I was there with a medium length. Now I have a long length. It's actually pretty long, but let me put it back again. Anyway, but wow, for me, it's really funny the way we see the short hair being portrayed in cinema and in entertainment industry, because in general, when you saw a woman having a haircut, and especially a short haircut in cinema, it means a lot. A good example is the Mulan scene where she cut her own hair to pretend to be her father, and to actually to her father's place at the I forgot the name. Anyway, but anyway, let's forget this part. But this part, even though she was doing that to pretend to be a man, it meant a lot to her, because it meant that she would be finally freeing herself from that society that said no to her, you know? And the short hair meant that the freedom, the scream of freedom of what represents the hyper femininity in society. Because we know that having the long hair, especially in nowadays society, because you know that in older societies, we didn't have this distinction, but nowadays we have it. That women always had a longer hair and men had a shorter hair, you know. And so we tend to link the long hair to femininity. And alongside with this femininity came a lot of rules that we had to follow since the first day we took our feet at this earth. You are meant to have babies, you are meant to clean, you are meant to serve your husband, you are meant to live around a man. And I'm not saying that only because you have a long hair you have to agree with that, because I myself I have my long hair and I do not agree with it, but uh, it's actually a subtle meaning that comes together with this long hair. So we tend to link a long hair with femininity and with the ideal woman, even though we know that in real life it doesn't have anything. But anyways, but when you have a short hair, you're saying that no, I'm not hyper feminine. And I'm fine with that. And I'm not saying that a woman with short hair would not be feminine. I'm all saying about the meaning behind it and all. And especially in more conservative societies. That's why I'm saying that I noticed that in many other countries around the world, we don't have this kind of point of view. But in some of them, especially the most conservative ones, we still preserve this kind of idea. And I have to say that now, getting a bit into my own experience, that I had a short hair throughout my whole teenage. So in my teenage, I had a really short hair, and when I turned 18, I cut my hair. It was the shortest. I cut my hair because I literally had a pixie cut, and it was something that I wanted to do since I was 14, because I always saw that short hair were really, really pretty. I think it's so stylish, especially because I'm actually very into fashion, and I noticed that a short hair, a bob hair, it's extremely, extremely fashionable. So I like short hair a lot. I think it's extremely fashion. The most fashion people, they have short hair. So for me, I always linked the beauty with long hair, but a fashionist with short hair, you know? So people who are creative, people who are funny, people who are stylish, they have short hair, you know? And for me, long hair always meant that you're pretty, you're standardly pretty. And I have to say that now that I have a actually pretty long hair, it was a time that I felt extremely pretty, conventionally pretty, you know. So that's why I every time I recording my videos and look at myself at the camera, it's not that I have a good self-esteem, quite the opposite, but I felt pretty when I was watching my own videos, when I was taking pictures of me to put on the thumbnail, because I think long hair makes you pretty, but as I said, it makes you extremely basic, you know? It makes you extremely basic. And when you have a short hair, for me, it brings such a aura. a a it makes you seem like you're saying, I am here, I exist here, you know, and I'm part of it. I don't know how to explain it. And as I said, alongside with the short hair, it will come a lot of um problems, let's say, because as I said, I had my hair short throughout my whole teenage, and I had to listen to a lot of criticism because of my hair. People come to me, especially people from my family, and they are like that. They are really undelicate when it comes to things there's when it comes to things that they are not their business. But they simply come to me and they said, "You're ugly. Why don't you have your long hair again? Because it doesn't fit you." You know, and I have to listen to this throughout my whole teenage. And when I started to let my hair be long again, that is this current phase, people are like, "You look so much better with your long hair. Oh my god, don't cut your hair again because you don't look good." Literally, they're calling me ugly, you know, only because I had my short hair. Of course, not everyone in my family were like that. I had many cute people around me who, you know, how can I say that? They complimented me for my short hair, but I have to say that when a woman decides to have a really short hair, she has to be prepared to this kind of reception, you know, especially coming from people who shouldn't say anything. Because in general, people who has the right, and the only person who has the right to judge you is yourself. uh, in general, they will not care about your hair. They will see you as you usually are. But people who don't like you, people who treat you bad or simply ignore you, it's only you make something a bit more extreme. They remember you exist and will be pointing fingers on you. So you have to be mentally prepared to this kind of behavior, to this kind of reception, because I'm sorry to tell you, it will happen. Liking you or not, it will happen. And I know it's really annoying. I have to say, it's extremely annoying because I already had to deal with that in the past. And I can say that now I, I would react completely different to this kind of um, commentaries I received in my teenage. But uh, as I said, because women having short hair, even though you're simply having a haircut and trying a new look, uh, for many people, it means a rebellion act. Like, you're a woman, you should have long hair because you're a woman, simply because you're a woman, and you should have a long hair. And once you have a haircut, it's kind of um communicating that no, I am a woman, but I don't have to fit on what you're waiting for me, you know? So that's why this meaning of having a haircut is so powerful, not only on movies, but in our society in general, you know? Many people say that um it looks ugly in women. Actually, for me, many women they doesn't look good with long hair, especially a woman who has more masculine traits. If you study Kibi body type, you understand what I mean. But I'm a dramatic, for example. Most part of my traits they are pretty masculine. As you can see, I even though today I use my eyebrows thinner, my eyebrows they are pretty large. I am tall. I have quite sharp traits, you know. You can see my nose they're sharp, my jawline is sharp, and though I have a long hair and all, so I'm generally pretty sharp and tall, you know. And I know that this short hair matches with my essence. I understand my body quite well. I understand me, my personal traits pretty well. So you can see that it's not about you being pretty or you being ugly. It's about people don't like seeing women having a short hair. And you can notice it that every time I see a woman with short hair, I always listen people say, why this short? You see, she has a short hair. I lived the experience. A good example for me, my god, this example is so good. Gracie Abrams, for me, Gracie Abrams is one of the most beautiful women in entertainment industry nowadays. For me, that Abrams is my goal. She's extremely pretty and she always had a short hair. I think only many years ago that she had a long hair, but she is keeping her hair short for like years. And recently she make her hair even shorter. And for me, it looked amazing. For me, she's extremely pretty. She's even prettier than before. And I see so many women criticizing her on the internet. I see so many girls saying, why does she have to have this short hair? Why does she have to cut so much? Like, it's her and she's looking amazing. It actually fits her so well. Can't you see that? That she's pretty. But only because she doesn't have a long hair, you're being annoyed by hair, you know? So that made me so angry when I was seeing those comments. And look, I'm not even a fan. I think she's extremely beautiful, but I don't listen to her songs so much, but in watching short videos. But when I saw people criticizing her for having a pixie cut, I was like, man, our society is so idiot. We're so idiot. Like, it's her hair, she's looking amazing, but only because it is short, you're annoyed. Only because it's short. And she could have a long hair and it would look terrible on her. And we'll be calling her pretty because you cannot understand that beauty is not about having a long hair. But you can understand beauty because for you, your mind is so simple that you can see, that you can analyze a face and understand her traits and see that that short hair matches her, that short hair fits her, you know? So every time I hear, I remember actually people um calling me ugly because of my short hair. I was like, you're too dumb to understand pretty. I'm really sorry. You understand nothing about art. You understand nothing about beauty. You understand nothing. For you, beauty is having a blonde hair, blue eyes, and white body. Simple. So you cannot understand the beauty of diversity. You cannot understand the beauty of mixing. You cannot. So if these bad comments are coming from you, I don't give a fuck. I'm really sorry. I don't give a fuck. If I've I will receive some kind of criticism from someone, at least I hope it comes from someone who actually understands beauty, works in beauty industry, that is study to understand beauty. If it's coming from them, that's fine. But if it's coming from people who are so close-minded and have such a small brain, I'm really sorry. It won't affect me anymore. It won't affect me anymore. And the reason why I decided to have a haircut right now, it's actually because all my life I wanted to donate my hair. And right now it's a bit personal part of the video, so be prepared. But I um I've lost two people to cancer. They were pretty special people in my life, and it was my grandma and my aunt. They were not mother and daughter. They were not mother and daughter. This aunt is from my father's side, and my grandma's was from my mother's side. But I was too close to them because even though they were not blood related, they were best friends. It's quite ironic that both was taken by cancer, and they were extremely special to me. They were the best people I had in my whole life. My grandma, I think that if you don't believe in soulmate, you never knew me and my grandma because we were soulmates. Um, and she unfortunately passed away when I was 9, and it was pretty hard for me because she was the first person I've lost in my life. And some years later, it was my aunt, and what kind of linked me and my aunt was this love we had for my grandma. And we had amazing conversations. I'll never forget the day my aunt all of a sudden she sent me a voice message saying that she was watching a movie where the main character was Natalie, and it was actually a pretty interesting movie. I think it's called In Your Dreams. I guess that's the names, where this Natalie character meets uh her significant part on her dreams. They meet on their dreams, and they were trying to figure out if they could meet in real life. And she said that she dreamed about one day a man called my name the way the guy called Natalie's name on the movie. It was really special to me. And donating hair is something that I always wanted to do, especially for a woman who suffered from cancer. So recently I donated my blood. I posted on Instagram for cancer patients as well, and now it's my hair. And I think that I always wanted to do that, and I finally took my courage to do that, you know? So if my hair, my long hair that took me 3 years, three? Yes, like 4 years, more like likely 4 years to be this long. But if it's being used to give back self-esteem for a woman who don't even have hair anymore, I simply don't care about my hair. I don't care about having a short hair. And for me, it's really natural for me to have a short hair. As I said, I always had a short hair, and I always thought that I looked amazing having a short hair. And I think I'm ready to do it again, to see my face after 4 years with short hair again. And right now, I don't care about what people will say. I am nervous because, as I said, it took me 4 years to my hair to be long again, and I loved this long hair era of my life. But for me, it has a also personal video reason. I'm sorry that during this time that I have my hair long was the most sad part of my life. It was the time where I have depression, and I'm finally saying that I have to say goodbye to this era. And my hair is like I will be communicating to the world that I will win depression. I will change my life. I will get out of my bed and my room for the first time in 4 years. And while I was growing my hair during these 4 years, it was a time where I was letting my soul rest a bit because this depression, if it brings something good to me, was that in 4 years I could rest from all the anxiety I had in my teenage. And right now ready to heal. And I'm ready to say goodbye to all the sadness that I've been growing through these 4 years. So don't be afraid of having a haircut, of having a short hair, because hair will grow, hair will be long again. Of course, it will take time, yeah, but enjoy this part of your life that you're letting your hair get long again. I've seen my face with so many different lengths that it was fantastic. I tried new things. I tried bangs that I never had bangs. So for the first time, I had bangs, and I loved having different bands styles. You can see through these videos that I've been posting in this 1.5 year. So it's time to say goodbye and start a new phase and start a new era where I will be happier, where I will be healthiest, and that's it. See you in the next video. Bye.